I've been here since Friday. I've slept every night. I do leave to go to work, and I do go home to shower before work, so don't make me out to be a saint just yet. I am washed.
Since I'm a student, I can't be here all the time. I came down on Friday, the first day, and I spent the night Friday. And then this is my second time here. I'll be spending the night tonight as well.
Oh, I've been coming every day for a couple hours or so, and just for the movement. I believe that we are the 99%, and I also believe that the 1% should not necessarily be taxed, but be equalized in taxation with the rest of us.
I came on the first day of Occupy Minnesota, just myself, and I was very impressed that there is a family area here. I think that's wonderful. I've talked to my children a lot about what it's been like down here. I've showed them live streaming. We've talked about the issues. I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they're very interested in what's going on here. I think they have a decent understanding of what's going on, and they were excited to come today.
Well, I believe in the movement. I believe that the 99% of us are getting screwed by the rich billionaires that are buying our elections, and corporations are screwing the country with all they care about is making more money, more money, more money. I just thought I'd show my solidarity as one person just sitting here spending my afternoon holding the sign.
We have our daily substantive things, and then at night we all just kind of cut back and cut loose. And I mean, because at the end of the day we're living here and we're trying to have fun, and there's a lot of fun people here, and we get into shenanigans, legal shenanigans.
It was really powerful, just sort of being with a group of roughly 200 other people, just sort of camping out in the middle of downtown Minneapolis to show, that this movement is here to stay. We're willing to, tough the wind and the snow and the rain and whatever else is going to come our way. And, I went and got my tarp today, so I'm all set. I'm here to stay.
Well, I just think the whole thing of the greed and the way that our politicians are all bought and paid for by the richest Americans, the Koch brothers and people like that, want the world to revolve around them when the rest of America is getting screwed. And, the standard of living for everybody's going down while the richest of the rich have more money than they could spend in a billion lifetimes, and it's just not right.
I feel like the middle class and the working class of America and the people that are really the engine of it all are the ones that are being, they're having the burden put on them for the recovery of a recession that they had no part in. I mean, you see, rather than us talking about taxing, stock market exchanges or the upper 1%, we're talking about all of a sudden cutting policemen, firemen, teachers, unions, the exact type of thing. Like, I don't feel that the people who have had the worst burden of this recession should be the ones that are, made accountable for having to bear the burden of it.
I guess personally it has to do with the fact that I am a student. I go to the University of St. Thomas in St. Paul, and when I graduate in a year I'll have around $100,000 in student loan debt and working 2 jobs the entire time. And I think it's a crime that our system makes it that difficult for our population to become educated. And I think that education is something that we should be encouraging, and I don't think that having people have this much out in student loans is encouraging at all.
I believe we need jobs, and Congress kind of is avoiding that. I believe not helping the president at all to create them.
At the moment, I mean, you have a lot of things on the table. I guess the one thing that just kind of drove me over the edge is the fact that, I mean, you're looking at Congress and you're looking at just the sharp partisan divide, and they can't seem to accomplish anything. And meanwhile, you have the masses of people that are really hurting. They're having trouble finding jobs. They're having trouble kind of living the American dream, if you will, the dream that we were promised. And yet you have a government that's being completely unresponsive to the needs of the 99%. And one can't help but feel, this has to come to a head. I mean, we're all here at the end of the day, because we'd like to see a more representational government, and we've been able to, assemble this mass of people. And it's interesting when, you have a workshop or a teach-in, and you have a socialist and a libertarian who are sitting next to each other, and they can find common ground, and they can find the ways in which they'd like to do something, and an action plan. Yet you can't get a Republican and a Democrat in Congress to decide like what color, what flavor cake to bring to the party, right? So I think this is just an exercise in that, and this is a natural response to a system that frankly isn't working right now.
I think there's a lot of pressure to send jobs overseas so that the stock price stays where companies want it, and I think that is un-American. I think that it is an American ideal to have that everyone should be able to have a job, should be able to have dignity. So when companies are so tied into what their stock price is and keeping their expenses low, I think that drives jobs overseas and leads to a lot of what we are currently experiencing in America right now. So I'm not a stock market expert, but I think there needs to be some change in how the stock market operates, regulations on corporations, and also some benefits for companies for keeping jobs in America so that Americans can have honest jobs, honest wages, which is what people in America are looking for, and so many are not getting right now.
I'm kind of general, I guess. I believe the banks are way overdoing things, and now with their new fees they're trying to add on is ridiculous. I'm just here to help the movement, I guess.
I'm not here to show what I'm for, but I'm here to show what I'm against. And I guess I'm just against the economic injustice present in our country in general, and I'm just here in solidarity with the rest of the world today to show that we're not okay with corporations running our government and having it be for profit. And that's what I'm here to protest today.
Well, I'm hoping, I think I've heard it's around the world today, so I'm hoping, it gets the attention of the politicians, and I think the other side of my sign encourages people to vote. I always vote no matter what election, big or small, school board, city council, I always vote. That's the only thing where I know my voice can be heard in one small way. So I encourage people to vote. And that, the people that are in the Congress now, the Tea Partiers that got elected are, holding up any progress of making any movement towards, helping the middle class or whatever. And so I think it's important that people vote. If you don't vote, look what happens. Who gets elected, and brings the government to a complete standstill.
I would hope to see Congress help President Obama with his Jobs Act, but they just voted that down, so I don't see that very likely. But I think to get jobs going again is very important, and I do believe Congress sucks.
Well, personally, these are all pie in the sky dreams, some of them, but I'd like to see public financing for elections, because that's really the common thread that I think is running through us all. We all come from different ideologies and whatnot, but we all recognize that the system is geared to serve the people that are funding it, the people with the most interest. So I'd like to see public financing for elections, a socialized election, if you will. I personally would like to see free public health care and education. I don't think education and healthcare should be for-profit industries. I think they're the right of every citizen of the country for healthcare and for education. I'd like to see the tax cuts for the upper 1% expire, and I'd like to see that money reinvested in, projects to build roads, to put people to work. Hell, even pay off some of the student debt so we can start paying, spending money again and making the economy go. If you think for 1 second that, 100 poor people aren't gonna, that a rich person is gonna put that money back in quicker buying a Spanish-made yacht than 100 people who are hungry and they just want to buy a sandwich, you must be crazy. So I think that the time for trickle-down economics is over. We tried that for 30 years, and here we are saying it's time we want to a robust middle class, and that's the only way that our country is really going to survive this recession and become the greatest nation again.
When you look at the ratio of some of the executives of corporations, what they earn relative to the lowest paid worker, it is absolutely outrageous. And when you compare that to 20, 30 years ago, it is just astronomical. So I would like that to be looked at. I don't know what the solution is for that, but I think it is completely out of control. That the very products that these companies are trying to sell, the average person can no longer afford. The average person is forced to make purchases that they don't necessarily agree with. They would probably prefer to buy organic produce, fairly traded, fairly made clothing, etc., and simply cannot afford it with the wages that they are earning. Meanwhile, executives at corporations, CEOs, are making such astronomical figures that it truly is an assault to the average worker to see, these the number of luxury vehicles on the road, the number of giant houses, multiple houses for the 1%, and I think it would be lovely if some of that could be shared.
I guess I've been telling people just to start reading what's out there, start gathering information as much as you can about the movement. It's really powerful to me that this isn't politicized, it's not polarized. It's just a movement of the people in general from all walks of life, and I think it's important to look at different media sources since they're all going to say something different, but just start getting that background knowledge and start learning.
Well, I guess just like to see the more the merrier here, that everybody that gets involved helps show that we really mean something here.
Well, I just encourage people to let your voice be heard. If you stay home and won't participate, you can't complain about nothing changing. It takes people willing to get out and stand up and say what you believe in, and crowds make a difference.
This is not a radical movement. This is not really a partisan movement. You have people from all walks of life here, from all ideologies and political leanings. This is more just a very large conversation, because I think the people realize that the system as it is not working. And a lot of us, myself, I don't want to speak for everyone, myself included, I am an Obama supporter. I was an Obama supporter, and I think we were really excited. But we've come to understand that one person isn't going to make a difference. The difference isn't going to come from the political system. The difference is going to come from us. I mean, we need to mobilize, and we need to get active and involved in the system if we're going to have any hopes of changing it and, bending it towards the will of us rather than the will of those who have, paid their dues, as it were.
I have been so disillusioned, so frustrated at where America has been heading, and I feel like this movement, actually I don't even think of it as a movement, I think of it as an awakening. I think that this is the awakening that this country needs to provide, to be the America that people want it to be a place where freedom truly is celebrated, where you can earn an honest living and take care of your family, excellent education for your children, etc., etc. So I am tremendously hopeful that this movement/awakening gains more and more energy, draws more people in. I want people to know that this is not just about the extreme left wing, the hippies, the punks, etc. This is for average Americans who want their voice to be heard and want change.